So I'm going to dive into the next section, which is a sort of do's and don'ts of writing the Y major essay. As some of the questions asked, like Carnegie Mellon or Penn, you want to share how you developed that academic interest. Where did it come from? How did it grow and evolve over time? And how has it led to what you're interested in now? So think about, your emotional resonance with the subject. Why are you excited about chemistry? Why are you excited about English? I keep using chemistry and English because they were the ones that I applied with back in the day. But you can sort of sub in whatever you're interested in right now, even if that's undecided. Like Yale said, you're going to change your mind all the time. I did. I changed my mind twice. I was a chemistry and English double major, then I was a biology major, and then I was a neuroscience major. So I went through all sorts of transformations. That's okay. They're not asking you to choose something to set in stone, just something that you are interested in right now. So you want to talk about where that interest came from, and while it might be tempting to write about just your passion and how emotionally important it is with all this flowery language, that is definitely my pitfall. It's best to be as specific as you can. Did you have certain experiences that led you to understand the field in a new way, or early exposure, or something that really happened with an anecdote attached to it is even better for explaining where this passion grew from. And this can be coursework. This can be things you did in school, because that's where you interact with a lot of intellectual and academic ideas and fields, obviously. But it can also be things that happened outside of your experience in the classroom. So it can be something where you were always interested in writing poetry, and so you started to write in your spare time. You wrote a few books, and by books I mean short stories, and you realized that you just love to write, and so that's what drew you to English. Whereas you didn't discover your interest in chemistry until 10th grade, when you had your first lab class, and you liked to solve the puzzle of figuring out which of these anonymous clear liquids were which, because you could mix them together and get different precipitates. So all different types of experiences can factor into this part. It helps to share anecdotes at the beginnings of these essays, because they are catchy hooks, and they draw the reader in, but they also provide context for your academic interest. They say, this is how I interact with it, this is where it came from, or this is how I've grown it over time. For example, if you are interested in going to Yale and studying English, you could start your essay by describing a childhood ritual where you and your dad went to the library every week, and you would go sit in the new arrivals section of the library, and you just start pulling books off the shelves, and you wanted to just look at the backs of them and see if they were something that were interesting to you. You didn't have a favorite genre, you just wanted to read, and so that can be a cool anecdote to open on. Not saying that's happened to me or anything, but it's something that's personal, something that's interesting, and really pulls somebody into a moment as they're reading the essay. If you have space, you can also add in specific subtopics that interest you within the major. So, for example, if you're a sociology major, I'll step out of my own shell for this one. But if you are a sociology major, maybe your specific interest is in gender relations or in racism. And for me, if you're interested in neuroscience, your specific interest is in PTSD or psychosis. And so you can work that in to show exactly what it is within the field that interests you, not just biology as a whole, but gene sequences. And this can make it seem more individual, more personal, and gives you the opportunity to share what's actually exciting to you. So this is where I would sit with these kinds of things, especially in essays that give you 300 or 400 words, like Carnegie Mellon and Penn. The most impactful essays are going to tell a story, so you should refrain from listing every single extracurricular activity that relates to your chosen major, especially, considering that you already have an extracurricular activities section on the Common App. This is not your resume. They'll already know about these things. You want to tell more of a narrative. You want to find ways that will connect your initial anecdote that you open the essay with to your desire to pursue the major and your goals for the future. For example, if you were a kid who loved the library, maybe this led to you getting a job at a local bookstore, and you were organizing author readings for the community. That's something that actually is not part of my life, but in my experience, but it is a really cool narrative that may resonate with a reader, because they show you that it shows you that somebody progressed from loving to read to loving to, see the process and have authors come and talk about their work. And so it shows a consistent and persistent connection to the field. Apologies if you can hear my dog barking upstairs. He is very excited to participate in these presentations lately. Another thing you'll want to emphasize, another do for these essays, is detailing your reasoning and goals. So once you have some experiences and specific details laid out, and your passion is clear, you want to describe your goals and how majoring in this field is going to help you achieve those goals. Maybe your early experiences with authors inspired you to start a novel, and now you want to major in English to and further study great works of literature, give you a good background and the foundation needed to find success as a writer, to finish that novel or start a new one and have it be culturally resonant and based in some of the greats, and have this really strong technique. I feel like majoring in English and writing a book are pretty easy to connect. It's not something that you're going to have to dig too hard to do. Then you also, if you have room, want to explain your school of these goals. So the reason should be not, this college is highly ranked for this major, or this college is very prestigious overall, or this college leads to high-paying careers. What you're looking for is diving into the curriculum. What kinds of classes are being taught? What kind of methodologies are being used? And are there specific classes or specific resources, like a study abroad in London that is specific to learning about Shakespeare and Shakespeare's works? So there's a Yale in London experience. So if you're passionate about becoming a writer, you can take time to explain how Yale's English program will set you on the road to success. Maybe you want to go to this Yale in London study abroad program, or maybe you want to pursue the creative writing concentration as a senior to further your creative writing skills. There are poets or writers on staff who you are really excited to work with, like Claudia Rankine. And so you can dive into all of these things to express why a school's program is going to be the right fit for your academic and intellectual goals. You can also mention a desire to take a particular course, study with a particular professor, work on the school newspaper. You can say, the Yale Daily News is a really well-respected college newspaper. So I'd really love to learn from the editors and the writing staff there, and be able to practice my writing for a community, for an audience. But be careful that you're not just name dropping things or people. Only mention a specific faculty member, for example, if their work is actually relevant to your interests. Otherwise, it could look disingenuous for you to say, I would like to work with this person, and then just move on. What is it about their work that is exciting for you and relates to your interest in the field? If you're a biology major, you want to work with somebody because their groundbreaking work in CRISPR gene editing technology is really aligned with your interest in studying a particular disease process. These kinds of specifics add, authenticity to the work that you are putting into these essays. So to summarize what you should be doing for this essay, telling a story that spans the past and the present and the future. These are my past experiences with this field that have led me to have this passion right now, and I plan to use that passion to achieve these goals in the future, and this program is going to help me do that by doing X, Y, and Z, or giving me these resources or kinds of access. That is sort of what this essay should start to shape itself into over time and over several drafts. But there are a couple don'ts I want to mention just quickly. I don't want to dwell on the don'ts, but I want to make sure that they get out there so that you are not tripped up by these common mistakes. One, as I mentioned before, don't discuss the school's prestige. Admissions officers know their school is great and that anybody can Google specific data like rankings. So saying, this school has a top-ranked physics program, or this is the best school for biological research on the West Coast. This isn't super meaningful for them. It's not very personal to you. They want to know things that you connect with about the school, why you're a good fit, and not so much why this program is something to aspire to. Similarly, you don't want to talk about post-graduation salary. Career goals is a good focus. I want to get into medicine because it's a field that I'm passionate about. But talking about just, financial gain is not great because these schools don't see themselves as a stepping stone to a salary. They see themselves as preparing you for the world and preparing you for a career. It's not just a rung on the ladder. It is an experience in and of itself. And talking about money often devalues the college experience to a reader. And as I said before, don't name drop. Don't just drop professors' names in there or courses or programs. Demonstrate your understanding of them. If you talk about a professor, talk about their research and the certain project and why you want to be part of it. If you talk about a course or a program, demonstrate how it fits into your academic goals and your ultimate trajectory at the school. These are the best ways to ensure that you're coming across as genuine, passionate, and excited about a particular school's offerings.